Welcome back to Fast Market here on the Schwab Network. It's time for our cash tag segment. For that, let's bring in Landon Swan. He's a co-founder at LikeFolio. Welcome back to the show, Landon.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
All right, so we're talking Lululemon. This stock has rallied about 45% this year, just below that two-year high we hit last week. But Landon, I saw a couple reports this week out of Wells Fargo, Raymond James, downloading the stocks. They're not downgrading the stocks. They're not downgrading them based on the fundamentals of this company, but they said the run-up has been too far too fast based on maybe some consumer trends, spending trends that they've seen. Do you guys have data that kind of supports the rally, or are you guys looking the other way?
It's interesting. I wonder if we could rewind and see what they were saying in November of 21, because I mean we're right there, right? I mean the stock was 485 in November of 21, and over the next 7 months it just got decimated down to about 250, and since then it's slowly climbed its way back. And we're not at those 485 levels yet, but we're not far. We're about 5% off of that at about 466. So this year and a half build back it's taken a while now to get to where we were 2 years ago. But I agree, they have run quite a bit. And you have to consider what's baked in when you're talking about this earnings report. That's a very fundamental lesson that every investor needs to really grasp is low price means low expectation, high price means high expectation. It's just harder to beat when the price is really high to actually beat true expectations, not what the analysts say their expectations are. So when we look at Lululemon, pretty much all the data looks really strong. No surprise here. I mean, we've been fairly bullish on this one for a while now. It's been running up. Obviously, we like to see that. Mentions are up about on a 9% year-over-year level. All of this is as the holiday season is starting, so obviously that's good timing there. The blue line here, you can see the mention level starting to run up and is up again, like I said, 9% on a year-over-year level. When we look at the web visits, it's up about 13% year over year, which is beating Athleta, beating Nike, doing really well there. The only one that they're trailing to is the private company Vuori. I think I pronounced that correctly. But they're the one that's beating them as far as web visits go, and they're the one that's beating them on happiness, just barely. But Lulu's got extremely, extremely happy customers. I think they're right around 79%. Just a hair above Athleta and beating Nike handily. So very happy customers who are shopping there more. They're visiting the website more. Google Trends is at an all-time high. It just hit an all-time high on Black Friday. So every data that we've got, every data metric that we would track would say this company should be trading really high. Now, the question is, what about when they report earnings? Because if they come out and they report numbers that we would think are, impressive, most likely every analyst is expecting that. I think that's where those downgrades come from. It's basically just saying this is just getting a little pricey and expectations are really, really high. So that's the kind of, conundrum that everyone's in right now is you want to own this company because they're executing very well. Long term, they look fantastic, but is the price right at $465? And I think that's the big question. We at LikeFolio, we are just shy of bullish on this one, just shy. I mean, if this was trading at, 420, 400, we'd be hitting the table pretty hard saying you got to buy this stock. But up at these levels, we too are a little bit cautious, and so we're just coming in on the very bullish side of neutral, but not quite all the way too bullish.
I don't even know how do we trade what you just said? I don't know. I'm on the very bullish side of neutral. So here's my thing. I'm just joking, actually. My one question from your data, and let's focus on your data because I think it's spectacular, is I don't know how to pronounce this name.
Vuori.
It starts with a Vuori?
Vuori.
Okay, there it is. Is this a real threat to them is my first question. Because, no one else seems to be competing with them. No one argues that Lululemon is not a company and a product of the highest quality, but I see everything, as Tom does, through the prism of trading, and trading says the the PE ratio has only spent time over these levels in a very short period from, I got the dates, April of 2020 to October of 2021, and it spends a lot of time in the low 40s. It's currently 58, Landon.
Yeah, that's tough. I mean, we talked about that high in November of 21.
Yep.
That's at the end of the period you just mentioned, right? And to answer your question, yes, I think that competitor, Viore, is a threat. It's very small. We don't have the scatter plot for you today, but if we did, they'd be in the top right, and they'd be a very small dot. Lulu would be right behind them in that top right, but a much bigger dot. So this is a company we've been watching. It's actually, we do a lot of research for obviously hedge funds, but also private equity, VCs, that kind of thing. And so sometimes we do track private companies, and that's one to watch for. I don't think it's an immediate threat that they're going to start taking a huge amount of share. Lulu's just so big that it's tiny, but over the long term, absolutely. And I wouldn't be surprised if a few years from now there's acquisition rumors of Lulu picking that one up just to get them out of the way. So they're definitely a threat. They're very high quality, but Lulu is it's the original of high quality. I mean, everyone loves Lulu. The consumer happiness for the scale that they have is unbelievable. So, I'm of the mindset that if we get a correction here and we see PE ratios somehow back into the 40s, it's an obvious buy. At 465, I'm very hesitant. But again, if it drops, 15% or something like that over the next, month or two, then I think it's definitely a pickup. Now, there's a few things of note. Excuse me. A few things of note. We always talk about the Ozempic kind of phenomenon and how could that affect things. This is one that we didn't see a huge threat to Pepsi and other snack manufacturers. We haven't seen that materialize yet, but if Ozempic does take off, you're going to have a ton of people who just got into a new, more confident body that they're going to want to get this athletic wear, and it's only going to benefit Lulu. So that's one thing. Also, when we're looking at China, obviously the last quarter they increased revenue significantly, and most of their new stores that they're building are coming into China. So they're expanding, they're doing well. They've also got a new product that's called the belt bag, but if you Google what it looks like, it's a fanny pack. Yeah. I mean, they're bringing back the fanny pack, but it's really popular. It's kind of a viral sensation, and it's the new gift, it's the new hot gift for the season. So, they're picking up some there. So when you go in to pick up your belt bag for your friend, you can go pick up a couple shirts and pants for yourself. So they're well positioned in this holiday. It's just a question of price, guys. I mean, it's just so high. It's very hard.
Yeah, they sold out of that fanny pack. I'm not calling it a belt bag. I had a request for that last Christmas. I couldn't find one because they were sold out. It's a fanny pack. I'm putting the gauntlet down on that one. But Landon, when you look at this, is this all going to be based on the consumer? China's, their economy is starting to slow down. I know you guys don't have a lot of data from overseas. Their economy's kind of stalled a little bit. That's their growth engine. Is it all going to be about the consumer this holiday shopping season for Lulu? Because I think a lot of their stock move after this report, even if they beat, it's going to be on guidance.
Yeah, it's all about guidance from here, and I think it's a lot of it is going to have to do with holiday sales, because that kind of tells you, it's a good barometer for what the next year is going to look like, is how popular is this right now. And again, everything that we've got says this is a good holiday season that we're ramping into. Obviously we'll have much better data after Christmas, but so far after Black Friday, all the data looks really strong. Mentions, web visits, Google Trends, happiness, everything that we've got is strong on Lulu. But, you're late to the party with that information because, again, the stock's at almost all-time highs.
Right. Great stuff, great data. As always, Landon, appreciate it.
Thanks, guys. All
right, that's Landon Swan, co-founder at LikeFolio, breaking down the data for us. Kevin, I thought this was one key takeaway from the downgrades that we got, two of them this week. Wells Fargo analyst said